is your host, Minette Lawrence. We're live at the Ligony Club, courtesy of JD's Urban Pub, the Ligony Club, and Carmen's Collection Furniture Land. Those are the companies, the friends who have made it possible for us to be here in this wonderful location. Yes, and we're making new friends. Of course, Pastor Percy is an old friend, co-presenter right here, and we have another guest at the table with us. Pastor, you want to introduce my guest?
Yes. Good morning, John Andre
Yes.
Lawrence, who is an international producer. Because he's gone international in
Yes,
terms
yes,
of what
yes.
the work that you have done
Sorry, my bad.
for Dre,
Drake, yeah.
Drake, and my children said, Daddy, listen to Drake music. And it's kind of reasonable. I can listen to him, and the ears don't hurt me, and I can appreciate what he's saying. But
Yeah.
even closer to home, we discovered in the break, as we had said, that John and Andre have done some work for the VM group, and you actually
Yes.
produced the music for their
Yes.
new art.
Yes.
How you doing, my friend?
I'm okay. I mean, I'm glad to be here. Glad to be speaking with you guys. I'm open to any conversation that we will enter in. Yes, recently I was involved in Drake's album. He sampled a song I produced for his first intro to the album. And also, yes, VM. Someone reached out to me to basically do the VM branding music campaign.
So they chose you. They never said
Right.
something. They just
No, like they contacted me and just like, yo, we want you guys to, me and Chris Malachi, the writer of the jingles and the content, they wanted us to
Yes,
produce
yeah.
it from scratch.
wow.
Yeah,
But you
like
know, you know,
everything.
other life, you know. You went to Arden High School, and my
Oh, yeah.
son, yes, my son, is in his final year.
You have to call your son's name,
Matthew
'cause-
Palmer.
Matthew Palmer.
Yeah, Matthew Palmer.
Maybe if I
when
see
you,
him.
when you left Arden,
I left Arden 2014.
okay, so
Yeah.
you would have been.
So he was a junior or
While
a
he's
senior?
there,
He's a
junior.
Oh,
but-
Percy,
I
this
possibly
senior man
gonna
don't
see-
look up.
Excuse me.
Juniors look up.
You look down, but if you're a good senior, look down. You never know what's
Yeah,
following.
right. That's true. That's true too.
So, how did your? I know Arden has a very strong music. You have one All Together Sing, I think, on 2 occasions.
Yes, Arden has one.
You were a
altogether
part of
singing.
that?
I was not.
You were not a part, but what prompted you to
Get
go
into music.
Into music that way.
All right, so it's an interesting story. It's actually through a friend of mine. So I was in a class and a friend came to me and played like a beat he made. You know, for some reason he called it Arden Rat Rhythm.
Arden
Right?
Rat Rhythm, yeah.
Is it still around?
I don't have it. I don't know where it is, but it was the first thing that I heard, and it inspired me to go home and download this software called FL Studio.
Yes.
So I had actually learned about that software through my sister, Shante, prior, but I didn't really delve into it much because I was young. I couldn't understand to work it, but this time just like once I heard a student my age make a beat, it's just like whoa.
I could
Because
do
I'm an
that
artist.
too.
I love art. So the next thing for me to do was to go home, download the software, and then just try little by little to understand it and work with it. And I had a friend that was with me at the time that heard the beat too, and he started making music at the same time as me. So
What's he doing now?
he is in
Still in
accounting.
music?
He's generous.
accounting.
But he generous.
Generous,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's actually still active in music, but he actually is, I guess, at balancing the two.
Mm-hmm.
So out of most of us, I think, funny enough, the person that played the rhythm for me initially, that said he built that rhythm, he didn't build the rhythm.
Oh.
It was our next person that made the rhythm. So that next person named Chris
Yeah.
is a colleague of mine throughout high school that we just kind of bounced ideas off each
Mhm.
other.
And he's still in the.
He is very much like
Yeah.
independently a producer.
right.
Okay.
And I just as much am an independent producer as well.
Mm-hmm.
Two of the other persons that I went to school with that were doing music, they the music, but they also work a 9 to 5 too. But
Mhm.
there's everyone's still kind of involved.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
because you're still so young, and yes, he is under 30 and he is single. Still single?
Yes.
So
You
why
know,
you
your
put that
parents
in a,
need to
why
know
why
first.
throw that in
Same
the mix?
reason why you talk about Courtney married and stable.
You look suit us for your son at that happened. Tell her say no so it work them days John and Drip. You understand?
This one I'm prepared to.
Yeah,
He's at
prepared.
an age where he could partner
I
up.
know, before
But-
John and Drip goes on, you are not like the fathers who when the boys go home with the girls, he says, I have a cutlass here. Right?
Oh,
You
no,
don't
no,
do
no, no,
like
no.
that.
No shotgun or cutlass for this young man.
Alright, we can understand. Okay.
But because you're still, you're still reasonably young, you can remember the level of encouragement. Were you encouraged? And no, don't look at your father when you answer this. Did you find that you got the necessary encouragement in pursuing the artistic side of your endeavors? Because you were in high school, and a lot of times in high schools, parents are very focused on the raw academic,
Yeah.
the more scholastic endeavors, not the artistic ones.
I mean,
little bit about that.
I'm thankful for how supportive everyone in my family has been. I've gotten completely no pushback as to doing music. I mean, obviously, I was encouraged to have a balance. So
Okay.
encouraged to go to complete college, complete every academic endeavor that I entered in, just to
So you
follow
went to
through.
Enamadi?
No, actually to UTech,
And what you did?
I did bachelor's in communication, arts and technology.
Oh, so it kind of line up in where you are now.
Kind of line up in the creative aspect,
Okay.
but like not the music aspect per se.
Okay.
But I am a multifaceted person, so I like graphic design and illustration.
Okay.
and that
Oh
kind of
gosh,
thing.
if you see his artwork, you would tell him to stop messing about with music. You would
Well,
say,
so-
stop
so
wasting your time
so
with
you're
Drake and the
multifaceted
people.
Yeah, in terms of you did that, you did the music.
Right.
So,
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm first and foremost before anything an artist.
okay.
In the widest sense of the term. Like I
Tell
just
me
love
how you
art.
define it. In
In the sense that I like expressing myself through various medium.
Okay.
Right. So like my first medium was drawing.
Right.
From a very young age, I could just draw. I love to draw. I spent lots of time drawing. I was somewhat a bit. I was impressive for my age,
Yeah,
and then I went into photography.
Okay.
yes, I remember that
right.
season.
And I dove into that and spent a whole time researching cameras and really trying my best to not master the craft, but get as close to mastery
As you
as a time period.
What
And
drew you? Because I know you were equally technical and the composition of things. What
Yeah.
was it that kept teasing your mind? What were you trying to pull out of the environment around you?
with photography?
Anything,
Just
any
anything?
of your artistic.
I think it's just being a kid that kind of is introverted, and I
own expression that way.
yes, exactly. So I don't necessarily
I'm a woolly friend, but the friends that you have close. But if you
Mhm.
go into a room,
Right.
you're not the one who's gonna reach out and say, "Hi, I'm so and so." You have
I
some
mean,
people-
yes, initially that was me. I mean, I'm learning now to kind of balance things out and be more social.
okay.
But in the interim
The early
period, early years, I really just had my expression through my art.
Okay.
I didn't have much friends. I mean, I had pretty good friends still, but it's just like art to me was just like me kind of I don't know, putting something out there in the world and taking my experiences and what makes me feel good
Okay.
and just translating it back.
Have you had an exhibition as well?
I have actually been featured in an exhibition. One exhibition in particular, it was the Kingston on the Edge exhibition.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember
Right.
taking you somewhere and they
Right.
recognized you. It's like, I
Exactly.
know him. He was at when Cafe Blue, is it? What is not Cafe Blue?
Where it was, it was at Red Bones.
Red Bones Cafe.
Red Bones Cafe. I had because the kind of illustration I do is hyper realistic drawings.
Yes.
So I just take a picture and I just draw it as detailed as possible. you
Okay.
know. and
Almost a three-dimensional drawing.
almost,
Almost.
yeah.
Yeah, I understand what
But
you
it
said.
does look just like, I mean, he's done a portrait of his dad, and he's done. You
Mm.
can find them online. Etana,
You did
Dennis
Dennis
Brown.
Dennis
to Etana.
Brown. Yes,
Dennis-
Okay.
yeah.
mhm.
So you could. It's
That
easy to
means you're
find
ready to have a
JLL.
full, a full
Yeah.
exhibition. John
Yeah.
Andre.
Yeah, like exhibition, John Andre, JLL. I
Mm.
mean, but the thing is, it's an interesting thing with art and me. I think what kind of slowed down the illustration for me is the commercial aspect of it,
Yeah.
because
You need a
that's
manager.
when, yeah, well, yeah, because now people are requesting certain things,
And they
there's
want it
deadlines.
they have
Right,
deadlines.
exactly,
Yes.
and they have nowhere near the money that is required for me to spend the energy that they want.
Okay, so now make no
So
sense.
yeah, so then it kind of from a
Yeah.
starting commissions, I just kind of slowed down.
So this is a nice segue into how you make art into a living, into an economic activity. Let me paint a picture for you. We've talked about
Creative industries.
cultural expression and artistic endeavors as being one of the engines behind self-identity and development, meaning development of a nation. The same creativity that drives an architect to design a big building is what causes you to do, a portrait.
Right.
How we encourage it, how we nurture it, how we harness it, and then how we make economic sense of it is a big deal. How have you made that transition from art student into working artist, if there's such a thing?
Well, it was an interesting transition because I never really knew how to make money by myself, for myself, but I also didn't want to be in a 9 to 5 for the rest of my life. So I was in a work position for a while. I mean, I had the same hurdles with music in the sense where I know people were selling beats and they were doing different things to make money in music, but as far as I knew, like it just seemed very hard.
Get to that
yeah,
point.
to get to a point, because the story was always just that in Jamaica, the way how money run is not how money run up in the States. So like there's labels here that can pay you advances that can really like match what a producer is worth.
So
But-
that's one change that we should be looking to have here.
For sure, but
Yeah.
what had happened eventually, I had kept working with the virgins that I
Your
had at
schoolmates.
Art.
School days.
Right, and Chris KRS, who was one of the virgins that actually got some success, started to pitch things
For
to
you.
for me, and songs started going out, and then he started getting bigger links. He started flying out, so he ended up getting me my first, I think, job with a label that I got paid label money.
You got paid label,
So-
Label
got
money.
paid
What was
in
that
US
Yes,
job?
dollars.
US dollars.
Yeah.
Yes, man.
What was that job? Do you remember it?
That job was a song. It was a song by Cranium. It was a love song. It's one of Cranium's like sweetest,
Who's
nicest
Cranium?
song. He's a dancehall artist.
Yeah,
And
but
I
I'm
mean,
I'm sorry, baby. I know about Cranium. I don't understand you.
yeah, like Cranium's a dancehall
John
artist.
Andre never teach me about cranium.
You never teach about Cranium.
No.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but is song name again?
Isn't it weird that that's such a significant thing? I struggle
No,
to remember
no
the song.
other.
Yeah,
No,
that's all
the
right.
song
All
name.
All right, let's bring it forward.
No other. And then I think it was 2018 when that year of music is when I started to work with Chronics.
Yes.
I made a remix, and then I started to get more connections with people who had access to the labels and the companies that actually had the
So
capital.
which remix you did with Chronic?
I did,
I can.
Yes, I can.
I can. I loved
remix
it.
for Chronic?
Right,
Yeah, I
an
love
unofficial
it.
remix for I Can.
So
Okay.
what we're gonna play from John Andre's body
um,
of work? Oh, his father gone. The producer
Yeah, you
gone.
can put that on the list.
Yeah,
I Can. but-
I love that remix.
Right, and I
Yeah.
met I like what started to happen is that I started to see the value of my music and started to see that okay, well, if a label can just throw away a couple thousand into me just as a producer, then I mean there must be a value to this. So it changed my whole perspective. Oh, I don't have to just shadow produce for other producers
Yes,
to try
go-
and get
go
it
into the
and
market.
just go into the market. So
So
eventually,
I have to make a comment here because what you say about recognizing the value of your work, why we recognize art as a part of that process of identity and self-worth, to know that the product of your imagination has intrinsic value
Yeah.
because it comes from you and it is you that is giving it that value.
And
It's
that's
an
interesting.
important step in development.
But it,
So I just want to record that
For
as
sure.
one of the
Value of
high
music.
points of this conversation with you.
I-
That appreciation of value.
Yeah, but John Andre, people have said it is our creative industries that's going to drive our progress, our prosperity as a nation. What do you think about that? Just following up that statement.
That's
that
a
you just
great
made.
question. I was having a conversation with my brethren the other day, just talking about government, and I do believe as a country we're losing faith and patience in our government, and it's becoming an open joke
Yes.
in
It's
this
an
in
open
many
joke.
many
They talk
senses.
about it,
Yeah,
but not
yeah, yeah,
action.
yeah.
Right, and I think for a large part, out of us are being treated seriously as a people, and the creative industries is really Jamaica's biggest resource right now. Like we've almost sold away a lot of our physical, natural resources.
Or reduced it to its
Right.
insignificant quantities.
Right, and I do think that creativity is something that
It's
more people are
boundless.
getting into. Everyone is getting creative, and it's an open playing field. Like no one, there's not to say that there's only a limited amount of artists that should be artists, or a limited amount of people that should make videos. Everyone should have the capability to do
And the
that.
world is your market.
Right, exactly.
Especially now with technology allowing you to get to the world
Yeah.
without having to jump on a plane.
Right.
And I was speaking endlessly to someone yesterday about NFTs, non-fungible tokens, which is just an invisible way of,
Exactly.
of transferring the value from your physical artwork into something digital that can
Right.
traverse the world without boundaries.
And
So you're absolutely right. You know, the World Bank in their assessment, they
we
talk
spoke
about it
about
all the
that.
time, and I have to get back to it. Their report says that people, that is your current greatest capital asset. And you, young Mr. Lawrence, you are endorsing that by expressing your opinion that the creative industry holds the greatest capacity for wealth right now because everybody can be a producer of
Yes.
something creative.
Yes.
And you can express it in whatever you are doing. There is
Right.
no limit to where you can put it.
Yes, because I had a conversation with the idea of a state-funded label that Jamaica can have, where Jamaica,
State-funded label, yeah.
they fund their own label through basically having
Like the Lotto, like
yeah.
the Lotto
They call it like Jam Rock
Because- but that
Studios or
means
something.
that what could really happen with the Chase Fund, it is they could get money from the Chase funds that come from Lotto to do a state-funded
Well, the
label.
two of you lost me because anytime, and it's because of the open joke point that John
that
Andre
don't know,
made.
but what he said.
Anytime, in a perfect world, brilliant.
Yes.
But right now, before Jamaica could do one more state-funded thing,
No.
we'd have to clean house.
No,
So
but
I
no.
just got lost in,
No,
in
I'm not
my
saying lost,
reflection
but
on
I'm
that.
saying-
But it's a great idea.
Yeah,
It's
but
a
what I
great
was
idea.
saying, Minute, is that the Chase Fund.
No, man, I heard you. The mechanism to do it is there.
so
but it's
I-
going to fall
when-
prey to the same vulnerabilities and weaknesses that
And it
that
was-
afflict every government
Right. And it's
thing
good
that
you
we
say
put
that
in
because
place.
the brethren I was speaking to is actually Ayatash I was speaking
Yes.
to, and he also shares some of the same concerns. I mean, I don't necessarily have much faith to say that they will take it seriously, but I do
Or
mean
pitching it.
yeah, it's more pitching
We have a
and
Ministry of
putting it out
Culture
there.
and Gender and Youth and so on.
Yeah.
And that's like a natural thing for you to put into policy. And its day will come.
Mm-hmm.
And can I tell you something? It doesn't have to be state funded. It can come right out
It
of the
can
private
set up a
sector
non-profit to do
from
so.
very well intentioned persons who can do a not for profit. That's what it does. And all you do is just replenish it. As people do well, they replenish it.
Right.
Replenishing
but
it and encouragement,
yeah.
because what I hear you saying is if you have a state-funded label or a non-profit, it is facilitating. It is like a conduit
Right.
that is
Yeah.
allowed for all the creatives
Right.
to
An
come,
incubator.
an
Yeah.
incubator, like you have a
Right,
business
because I mean,
incubator.
even
Yeah.
when presenting that idea in the whole fleshed out sense of it, with the state-funded aspect, I don't necessarily think it needs to, as I said, Minute, to be fully state-funded, But then I do think there definitely needs to be a class action to encourage the youth and the people who are coming from inner cities and places that they don't have much resources
To do that.
to really
I think they had something like that in
afford.
Church down, that label.
And like yeah, and Alpha Boys, there's establishment that actually help youth like engage a creative side of themselves. But while a school is good to teach them the musicality of it, I mean, why don't you just have the provisions by whoever to really allow someone to record a song properly, you know,
Yeah.
to produce it properly, or to have the means to go to a studio that is not gonna charge them a lot, or
Right, yeah.
you know?
You want the administration and the facilities that stand behind it, you know.
But that's good. That's an
Yeah.
excellent idea. It's something that we could pursue
Mm.
in terms
So-
of what we're seeking to do
Yeah.
as persons on this program. If we say, okay, have a studio where you're going to pay minimal, but you are
We
engaged
spoke with
creative.
someone yesterday who was
Mhm.
speaking to us about a facility that he has now built at his home that would accommodate that, and where to go and look at it.
Creative.
Yeah, so I would love to see how that could
Mhm.
play out. You know,
Mhm.
to just create opportunities for persons who have the interest, have the talent,
Mhm.
and just kind of need the support.
Right.
I want to kind of draw you now into some more modern talk.
Mhm.
Modern talk.
Yes.
But I don't like her.
um,
I don't like her.
Barbados
I thought,
has just-
I thought we were on modern talk.
Right.
She's saying it's like an antiquity. When she's good at, so leave it alone. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
all things are relative. The young man is under 30. So
Mhm.
modern for him is what happened yesterday. So Rihanna
Yes,
is now a national hero.
she is.
Your thoughts?
No, I have a specific question. How do you see that affecting? How do you see that affecting her creativity or the perception of her, or do you see it as having
It's-
any kind of impact?
It's very interesting because Rihanna is a very controversial person. She has really spanned a lot of topics, a lot of like she's been touted as being everything in the spectrum. I love Rihanna. I think she's cool. But I can't deny that her culture, where she's coming from, because though she's from Barbados, she spent a lot of her time in America and went through the American system, went through the American labels, and basically was made to be a star in a sense, you know.
Yes.
And
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think she also played a
Yeah,
huge part
yeah,
in
not-
being that star too.
But
You know?
but
I
people
understand.
have said in the industry that if you have the money behind you, even if you don't have talent, you can become a star. Do you? Is that
And
true?
she has
No,
talent.
She has talent.
And
So
she has
even
talent,
when
so
I say
she's-
that, it's in the sense
that's
where
doubly
right,
assured.
she was taken up by a label, and they basically
Promoted and
boosted her.
polished.
Because
And
remember, she's a
yes.
Caribbean girl, you know. Like
Yeah.
she's genuinely a Caribbean girl, just like a Jamaican girl
Like
who
Etana.
them take and they put money in and they say, hey, this is what we want to make you.
Yes.
And now we're seeing that she's controlling her own destiny. She has her own line. She's not even putting
She's
out
not
music
label now.
anymore.
She's not doing music anymore.
I mean,
Hardly.
she is,
At
but
her
just like it's,
discretion.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think.
So she
she's-
deserves being a hero.
Right, she's been very accomplished, and I think even though things have been controversial, and you can comment as to what her values are, at the end of the day, she's been very helpful to the country.
To her country.
She's been very what's the word? I think she's just been
So
very,
don't you think they've kind of unsexied her? I've created a word.
but I mean,
But you know what I mean.
they can't, because she's responsible for that. So
How many sexy
'cause it's
heroes do you
even-
know?
Because Rihanna, she dressed how she dressed. Because even when she was there, people were commenting on how she dressed. You know, like
And that's what
yeah.
that's kind of what I mean.
What
How
did she dress? She had on a nice orange.
she had a nice orange, but she wasn't wearing like a bra. So what that means is just that it was a bit provocative for some people.
you know what? I understand your response because my first thought was, who's lining up to see the national hero sing a hot song? I mean, national hero.
So yesterday,
so
when
it
I
reminded
mentioned
me.
it,
I
and
know.
you
I
had
was
the-
trying to pull
the-
him
the-
out, and he
the-
wouldn't take the bait.
Well,
Because-
better you say it than
I
me.
could see
Yeah.
I could see his reservations, but he wasn't. It was
Yeah.
like a national hero, Rihanna. I'm
Because
not
that's
seeing
the
it.
thing. It's
But he wouldn't tell me
important.
why.
So quickly I
Right
would
now,
say.
time for a break. Okay.
So
Yeah.
quickly I would say it's changing the precedent as to who deserves a recognition and a
And I
position in
love that. I love
Right.
that.
That's
All
what I
right, so
think.
we're gonna take our break now. 2 minutes.
Mhm.
We're having our conversation with JLL Productions.
JL Production.
JLL, please. It's Lowell. It's John Andre Lowell Lawrence.
Yes.
We're on break. We're
Distraction get cancelled and all bad mind going on standby. Some people not understand, so let me take the time to tell you why. When we feel we never, never down. For real, until kingdom come. Remember, say, Alpha, say,
Welcome back to the Morning Connection. It's a family morning today for us because in the house we have young John Andre Lawrence. This is the
Yes.
producer's firstborn son. I say firstborn son meaning literally firstborn son. The firstborn child is actually big sister Shantae, who is a very talented person herself. The truth is, all of the producers' children have super talent, very artistic, all of
Shantae
them.
does music.
Boy,
Has
Shantae,
touched everything, man.
yeah.
She touch everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
man,
she's a
she's-
freelance digital. She's a freelance digital. Sorry, she's a freelance digital. I think consultant.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. Right. She's the what is it, digital queen something. I
Yeah,
can't find her.
yeah.
Digital
Yes,
queen.
and then she married into musical talent too because
Right.
her husband is DJ Power,
DJing, yeah.
who is a powerhouse in music himself. But of course, for us, none like John Andre, who across the whole spectrum, drawing, photography, music, and just a very soulful. I tell him all the time, so he knows how I feel about him. He's a pure soul, and I can understand. I saw you as you were growing up, interpreting and reinterpreting the world through his art. And music did capture him, and we're grateful for it.
So
We're
we're
enriched
looking
by
forward
it.
to his exhibition.
I wanted to do one here at Ligani Club, and at any time we wanted to, because John Andre works primarily with emerging artists. Chris Malachi, tell us a little bit about Chris Malachi.
Chris Malachi, me and him met while I was at UTech.
Yeah.
Alright, so it's a funny story about Chris. He had actually reached out to me on Twitter via DMs because he heard one of my beats on SoundCloud. And that's when I was posting on SoundCloud regularly, just instrumentals. I didn't really have artists working with at the time. And he heard that beat. It was like a reggae rhythm. It's funny, it's called Sensi.
Aye.
It was like, marijuana inspired.
Yeah.
And I never smoked no marijuana.
Thank you for
anytime.
telling us that, son.
Around them time there. But yeah, like he heard it and he made a very beautiful song called Delight. Which is, very
Sensi
like
Delight.
inspirational. I mean, it really is a very beautiful song that he voice noted to me in a DM and just like, hey, I made this song, I want you to hear it, and I don't know if like we could link up. And I was just like, wow, like, because I didn't expect someone to make such a nice song on the beat just so. And I told him, all right, I don't have a mic or a setup, but once I get a mic, then we can link up. So it was like actually a year after he had messaged me
Yeah.
first, and I actually got that mic, and then I was just like, yo, let's link up.
Is this the mic? Because I know you.
That's the mic that you're currently speaking in right now.
Something told me that
I
this
went
is
to
the
Music
mic.
Mart and got a little help with some of the funding for it and just bought them second fanciest mic and just run with it for however long, and that was just me and him.
Yes, so the morning connection is
Yes, it's a
benefiting
cardioid
from the,
mic, so it goes one way,
Yeah.
right? But it's
Yes, Prasta was trying to teach me that earlier. I'm like, okay,
unidirectional.
it's a powered mic, right? That's what we call it.
Right. But no, the mic has done its time because with Chris we did albums, we did songs. I've told my father already that Beres Hammond, Jesse
Has
Royal,
used this mic?
Chronix,
Fact or
every
royalty?
one of them, all of them have used that mic.
And
you
now
know?
Minette Lauren.
Right. So it's
Pastor, I will lend you the mic. Don't look so.
but yeah, with me and Chris, I think he approached me initially when I was at UTech after that whole conversation to say, hey, you know, he wants to make some music that involves the arts, because he was in a performing arts group called Quilt
Yeah, right.
from UWE. Very amazing performing arts group, directed and run by a guy named Rayan. And Chris would come to my house, you know, and I didn't really know this guy. I mean, we didn't really know much of each other. It was kind of awkward at first, but we were pushing through him of a bag of ideas. I was helping him out, and eventually we started to build some rapport, and then we started to kind of grow, you know, in music. And although our year turned into years of like working on one album, it really taught us a lot.
Yeah.
And we've just continued working. I mean,
But he has an album out now that we were
he has
listening
an
to some
album
of it. Did you know
out.
we're playing some of it? You know?
yes, I heard some of it
Yeah.
earlier.
And
But he
that at
has,
least-
we were currently working on an EP, but he's also just engaging in some singles himself. And yeah, he started out primarily as a gospel artist, but I think he's transitioning into a conscious artist with a gospel foundation.
Yeah, which is fairly
What a lot of people
traditional
do.
in terms of the
Right.
growth path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on, yeah.
So if you had to characterize the inspiration that fuels your collaboration with Malachi, what would it be?
The inspiration is just how he thinks, how he goes about music. Like, he's just very detailed, and I mean, he really studies music. Like, regardless of content or whatever, like, he opens himself to all influences so he can put it back into his music.
So what drives him? His voice, or just the spirit of what he's trying to communicate? Because he has a beautiful voice. You rarely hear male artists with that kind of
He
purity
has
of sound.
a
I
strong
just heard his
voice.
voice.
Because he was in Quilt, so in performance, I
Yeah.
think he naturally has that inclination to really sing, and you know, but Quilt really drew that performance character from him.
Out of him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So even in his music, it's very performative more than the regular person. Not even like jump up and down. It's just like
Expressive
very just expressive in
and
his face
intense.
and him sing and even soft and even like it's very like you're watching a show.
A show,
Okay,
you know.
yeah.
And I just
Alright.
kind of help him kind of balance it out to be like, you know, sometimes to be kind of more relatable. Everything can be
So
performative.
dramatic.
Yeah, it can't be too
Yeah.
dramatic all the time. Yeah.
And the audience is eating and
Right.
we're barely
So,
looking at
because
you.
our first project was very like, he definitely which pulled all the stops. Him get choir, him get strings, him causing for do some strings.
Orchestra.
Yeah, like I mean they were digital, but still, you know. And we got musicians. We went
He's a
studios.
perfectionist.
Yeah, and it's just like
Yeah.
this is a guy that this is his first project. This is his first time recording music,
And
he
he's
had
self-financed, so you didn't have a label
self-finance,
standing
we
by.
finance
Oh,
the thing. I mean, I
Right.
never charge him or nothing, and
your reward is
Where
in
did
heaven.
it go?
it's where it is right now is that you know we're still working, and he's getting a lot of respect from
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
in the industry.
Well, one of the listeners here just said, boy, that's a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
All right, so of course, you know, you could stay here all day with us, but we do leave at 10 o'clock. And I think we we want to take a few calls. I want you to tell me a little bit now about what was the name of the campaign that you did for VM?
Transform Your Everyday.
Transform Your Everyday.
Mhm.
How did you interpret that, and what drove what you did? I want you
So-
to talk first, and then we're gonna play it so people
Right.
could hear your words come to life in the music
Right,
that you
exactly.
compose.
Right. So
Yeah.
this is another direction Chris has taken as well. You know, me and him have engaged in doing more ads. You know, more
Also, Chris and
content.
you are a team now.
We are a team, but
They
Chris,
collaborate,
right? Chris has his
frequently.
own company called.
This is the
Intune.
same Chris Malachi.
Same Chris.
All right.
The
So
Intune and
Intune.
JLLO.
Right,
And
JLL.
JLL.
So with Intune, it basically is a call it a ad service company that is making musically. So with the VM, we were approached to basically create 2 jingles, create a music bed, and I think create some backing for the some radio tracks. And yeah, it was quite a process because everything was from scratch. Because you know, we didn't necessarily draw straight inspiration from things other than works of our own in the past, or maybe references that were given to us. But like, we made variations, versions. You know, I invited a trumpet player,
Ooh.
flutist. Yes,
Pull out the stops.
a whole stops, piano player.
Remember, Chris is
composed
involved
it.
too, you know.
Right,
So
so
it's
like-
dramatic.
And-
those influences of Chris.
Right, and if you hear the jingle and you hear how it's written and how emotional it is, that's Chris. He's very talented as a writer. He
So
knows how
what's
to
the
connect.
mood?
The mood is, it's funny because the lyrics are the same, but the mood is 2 different moods.
Ah.
So you have an upbeat jingle and an emotive jingle. So the emotive jingle has a bit more feeling and it's slower and it sounds a bit more emotional. But the upbeat jingle is the same lyrics, but like just a different way to sing
Different,
it.
yeah.
So it's like dancehall and like just, you know, more for the youth, I can assume.
Right, right.
But like,
Vibrance.
and there's a music
Vibrancy.
bed that's a whole complete arrangement
So
of
what you can
music.
use that music bed to do other things.
I mean, I could, but the music bed was mainly just to kind of provide the
context.
TV, you know, like that very inspirational,
Yeah,
like
a
strings
background
and
and
piano,
context
and like
for-
it's very beautiful.
Yeah. So which one we're gonna hear now?
I think you should hear the 30-second version of the VM group thing. 60-second are perfect. So 60-second
Alright.
version, you should hear most of our arrangements.
Okay. So hit it.
We all have big dreams.
No, can I say something, John Andre? And it is, I think it's an important checkpoint for us. The opportunities that are available to artists in more mature, longer established industries, countries, they came through a period of struggle, of being marginalized, of not being taken seriously. And they are at a place now where they open up to the world. And one of the reasons they open up to the world is because they recognize that the talent is out there. And they will make more money by embracing it and being open. The issue that is before us is how do we take our own industry through those birthing pains to get to the point now where someone in another country will look at Jamaica and say, may I pack up my things and go to Jamaica because they are more encouraging and accommodating of my
Yeah.
talent. It's kind of the way the world sees all these super athletes, well, the sprinters at least. They see something coming out of Jamaica. They are now thinking, what, Jamaica has a
people are coming
factory
here to
down there.
train.
We need to come, and whether it's the air, how you sweat, whatever it is, we
Yeah.
want to come in on that. So you've touched a nerve. It's a critical nerve because listen, I would not stop a man who is in the now with the talent pouring out of him from going where he can be accommodated because I know that talent is like being pregnant. There's no stopping it. And none of us want to have our baby in a taxi. Everybody want to be in a hospital or
When it
in the
comes,
right
it
place.
comes.
But it's coming out. And there's no stopping it. So
So what
I understand why our
Right,
people
yeah.
have to go, and it's important too that even the country at a leadership level understand
that, yeah.
why people have to go to the best place to give birth.
Yes.
But for those of us now, person like me and you who stay in the nest, we gotta fix it so that
No, we have to fix it for
or
them. We have to create an
there's an
environment
environment that
facilitates
facilitates.
Yes.
them
Right.
Yeah.
starving.
And that's the thing, because you do realize you realize a boom in just the topics of scamming and things that are, to me, not good things. And just a culture of people doing, just surviving. And it's
And
just
it's
like,
the same creative talent that
It's
have
the
fueled
same
the
creative
scamming,
talent.
because if you hear them on the
Yes.
phone trying to convince you.
and but that's the thing. But it's
Hello,
it's
I'm
a
calling from so and so could
Right.
I change my voice?
But I
And
just
you
feel
do-
like, honestly,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a kind of person, I see yin and yang in all things. In the sense where, yes, someone is scamming someone out of their hard-earned money, but in their head, I'm sure they're wanting
He's
to make a
surviving.
living for
He's
themselves to
surviving.
survive in a country
Yeah.
where I'm sure they have been neglected, where they possibly try to go through the system, them try to do things the right way, can't get a job. What them going to do? Them going to result to illegal things. And it's just that what happens is the music reflects what's going on in the country.
Of course, art
And if you
imitates life.
incentivize, I get there may be afraid that if you incentivize the creatives to be more creative, then you might incentivize the things you don't want. But the point
But
is
you're
just
getting
that
those things anyway.
you're gonna get it either way,
Yeah.
and then you also don't know what you're also incentivizing that may be positive.
Right.
in the
yeah.
sense
You're
where,
throwing out
um,
the baby with the bathwater.
Right.
You have to take with the good and the bad and hope that the good rises to the top.
Well,
that drives the
you know,
culture
let me
forward.
put in a plug for your parents. You could have chosen any genre of music, but you've chosen what?
I mean, I just categorize it as conscious.
Yeah.
Conscious
And
music.
yes, really provoking thought and reflection and
Yeah.
a move towards a more positive outcome for all of us. And the reason why I say I put in a plug for your parents is because it's what's in the heart of a person based on upbringing. And
That
how
comes
would
out.
you describe your journey towards
Conscious.
the choice you made?
It was primarily in just because I am from a Christian background. I'm a very spiritual person, more so than religious. So I definitely I didn't want to be a part of a negative, space in music. But to be honest, I am currently still inspired by everything.
Of
And
course.
the things that to seem negative to some people do have some positive connotations that people can't understand.
True.
But what had happened in high school, I think I had made a beat and I sent it to a virgin, and I'm gonna make an artist record on it. Rawest song we ever heard now, and I'm just like, no, I don't want this. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Raw.
Yeah, and I was just like, like, I mean, I get people say these things as a means of expression. There's always a crowd for it. There's always some sort of encouraging of confidence of people's sexuality, whatever it may be. I can get that. But then there's also tact in what you're trying to explain and sing about. You see,
Okay.
I love all music, but I'm definitely not a fan of the kind of music that just doesn't feel progressive to me. Because I do think
And by
that
this now we're talking about lyrics. And
lyrically,
yeah,
and
because-
also I mean even musically, but
Yeah.
they all play with each other.
Yeah.
So like I'm a person, I can praise a Vibes Cartel for just like his talent and his raw ability just to be mold himself. But also he definitely has a lot of strong topics, and him as a person, very big question mark as to his morals and his values.
Right.
And
yeah.
as much as there's gonna be, I mean, it's yin and yang, I believe, but I chose to at least encourage and go along with the things that make me feel good and progress me as a person and make me interact in a more positive way with people around me. So that's why I put myself on a Protege and a Chronix and a Jazz Elise and a Savannah, because it's just all positive energy and it's just positive feedback from people, you know?
So we know that I've seen so many of the war movies when as the
Yeah.
soldiers are getting in the tanks and they're going out, some heavy rock music starts pounding to kind of get the blood revved up. So we know that music can be used to inspire and to increase the adrenaline for hostile engagement.
Tell me about
Yes,
it.
yes, yes.
And so in the same way, there is the music that inspires and
Relaxes,
uplifts,
Right.
and you have chosen to be in that.
Yes, I have, but it's just art, and I do feel like art is just the voice of the people, and it reflects also the cultures. In America, they love materialisms. Now, some of them, I can't say the whole of America.
Yeah, but you
it's,
see
it's
it.
a topic,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and just the idea of capitalism, looking like you are valuable, and all of the songs even mirror that. Big car, big house, you know, going out with my friends, just getting wasted, those kind of things that not everyone can really relate to. But I mean, it's the culture, and down here we have a culture of struggle, a culture of mental emancipation, or at least getting out of that mental slavery.
True.
And I feel like we still have a long way to go, and I will never ever blame what's happening in Jamaica, the violence and whatever, on the music. I mean,
No.
I don't necessarily want violent music to proliferate our radios or our streets and with our kids, because the other day I was talking to actually Daniel,
Yeah.
you know, my brother, and he had a friend talking to on some web stuff, and his friend was interested in me, the Drake thing.
Yes.
He was asking me questions, and then I was asking him like, who do you listen to? And like, he bring up some dancehall name where all know me hearing them songs. Like, so I just can't take it in.
Well, I have an assignment for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love for you to get your brother to listen to some more.
Conscious.
No, you know, it's funny, you know. He creates videos and
Yeah.
he selects his music, and
Yeah.
it's always on point. But if you say to him, you know, what kind of music you like, or he say, I don't like music.
You don't like music?
But it's
He
funny.
said
He's,
music is
he's
for
opening
him,
up to
music
it.
is like, so please open him up.
He's
to it for
opening
me.
up to it, you know, because he's making his own music for his videos. One,
Yes.
he actually
Yes,
asked
because
me
he
what
got too
software
many
I
YouTube
use.
notifications.
Right, you know, striking out. So he's asking me what do I use. You know, he's showing more interest in the music side of what I do.
Please encourage.
And he tells his friends, and it's just like, yeah, for sure. I think everyone's definition of music can be different. His definition can be the pop, the mainstream, the things that just like, you know, like
Yes,
don't-
and I
they
think
don't
that's what he
really relate
doesn't
with,
like,
yeah.
to be honest.
Because there's instrumental music, music
Yeah.
without vocals that can be just
Yeah.
as beautiful. you
And
know?
I've been teaching
Yeah,
about
yeah,
music in
talk
nature.
about-
Anywhere you can find a rhythm of anything, there's
Yeah.
music. There's music.
Yeah,
there's
he's gonna
music.
get to it, man. And
Yeah.
I think once he sees me,
Yes,
Yes.
yes, we'd like to take calls. All right. What are the numbers again? You know
So
how
as
I
you
am
know,
with
I
the,
find
with
that
the Thursday
interesting.
numbers.
I'm a 15-year-old and he's into Sam Cooke and that kind of music. I'm going,
What happened with the music?
Sam Cooke,
Oh,
that's the kind of music, man.
is he still alive?
No.
Oh.
But that's what John Tay listens to, and he has his playlist with those songs. He said, I listen to it. He goes on, he picks it up. Redemption song is one. He knows how to play the guitar, so he
nice.
plays that too. Both of them. So he said, okay.
It's very important here. This sounds like something I would do, you know?
Yeah.
That makes
All right,
sense.
John Andre, while you're in the house with us, because of course you know you're staying for breakfast. We're gonna take a few calls. That we have one number, so listeners, you know how last week and the week before there was drama with audio and so on. We are going to very bravely take a few calls, and it's only one number we're using this morning, and the number is 876-361-6583. 876-361-6583. We have a guest in the house with us. He's a young musical producer of enormous talent, and he is the generation that is going to run things when we have left the field. And of course, we are somewhat embarrassed by the condition in which we are leaving the field.
Not embarrassed, man. We are, come
we're-
on. And
You're not
we'll
embarrassed?
Fight and,
I'm
no,
embarrassed.
let me explain what I mean.
Okay.
We know there are problems, but we are fighting. That's why
Alright,
we
so
do this every
when-
Monday to Thursday, 16
Yeah.
to 10 o'clock, and we wanted to change narrative, to change mine.
All right, so let me qualify then. We're not embarrassed, but we're not proud.
Yeah.
So, but we're trying to leave it in a better condition
Yeah, for sure.
than it currently is.
Is there a call online?
No, not yet. I gotta acknowledge some of the people who are online chatting with us. Canada, I am going to make sure that VM knows that they have at least one potential customer in Canada.
I thought
So-
they didn't. I know Jane has in Canada, but
So,
I thought
so
that they
VM,
did.
so VM can join the fun in Canada. We young people in politics. So here we talk about the princes of the nation being all those leaders who are in the different industries, or it's not just politics for us. I know that sometimes when we are doing a review of what's going on out there in society, we focus a lot on the politics and what the prime minister is saying or on what different government officials are doing. But for us, John Andre, we regard you as someone making a contribution that is drawing international attention in the area of music and culture
Yeah.
as one of the princes of the land,
Yeah.
meaning you have influence. How do you see yourself influencing others? I mean, are you conscious of it? Does it affect the decisions you make? Are you kind of carrying that weight just yet?
I'm carrying it now, man, because I'm currently in the progress of building a studio for myself.
Yes.
You know, which I mean is a very big undertaking, and it's a very serious thing. And even before that, I've been told that I've been inspiring people, and because I don't see myself as big as it may be in real life. Like
Humble youth, I do a thing.
right, because I mean I think my name is known like possibly amongst the industry. But right now maybe it doesn't reflecting like my social following. I'm not really a big fan of social
But you're
media.
not hunting those
And I'm not
things, so
hunting
you're
it
not
down
being
either.
promoted like
Right.
how-
But sometimes
yeah.
sometimes we think that, oh, okay, well, if I'm not getting that much followers, then maybe no one's really talking about me. But then you go out and then people say, oh, JLL, I've heard about you. And it's just like you realize, oh, there's a world outside of social media and there are people that are actually being influenced. So when the Drake thing came out, there's one specific artist, I can't remember his name right now, but he said like I was inspiring a lot of youths right now. Just because I was
Of
a
what
Jamaican
happened. Yeah.
boy that had the intro to the biggest artist on the planet's latest album.
Wow.
Like, I mean, as you start the album, you hear me.
And you hear it for a long time.
Right,
Anybody who
and-
hasn't listened, I'm like,
Yeah.
Can we hear it?
oh,
Can we hear it?
can
Yeah, man. I mean,
Yeah?
if you can find a
No,
clean
we'll find
version,
it.
I don't think.
clean version.
Version.
Is it?
Yes, the one on YouTube, clean.
Yeah. It must be
Yeah.
clean, and I don't think the song itself
The dirty
really.
version of the song.
There's no music is dirty.
No, no music is dirty. Music is what it
Version,
is.
so me want
But
them
but
to
it's
do
not opposite. You see, you assume that the opposite.
Radio friendly. Radio friendly.
It's radio friendly.
Radio friendly.
Are you
yes.
dead in with laugh now?
I am
People
because
were saying,
no, not finding it. All right. Next thing you know, we get all kind of fines for playing Drake's music.
But yeah, I mean, like you can, if you want, you can play the beat on
You
SoundCloud.
could play the beat from
I Love You.
or from Masego.
Or from
Play-
Masego Navajo.
Yes,
yeah.
Masego Navajo. That was another big one.
Yeah, man. But
Um,
I mean, yeah, like it's really, it's definitely more apparent that I am
You're gonna
being
find it?
seen
Masego.
for the work that I have done, and I am also inspiring people. Unbeknownst to me sometimes, because there's always a
that's the
level of
greatest thing,
yeah.
about people who leave legacies,
Mhm.
set out to come up with a legacy. Like they say, I'm doing this.
Mhm.
No, they just go about doing their stuff,
Mhm.
and that's how they get their real legacy, because you're inspired. And when you're the say gone as we are in the departure now.
Yeah.
You know that you have a legacy because you never went out there to create it.
Right,
So
exactly,
when you go
yeah.
there to create a legacy, that's where they get the problem because you get to eat in a problem.
Right, yeah, for sure. And I try to ground my purpose and my reasoning in things that are real to me,
Yeah.
and not for the acclaim or the validation.
Do it for the love.
Yeah, not the hype.
Not for the likes.
Yeah.
John Andre, if it's not too personal, what is your purpose? How do you see your purpose?
My purpose, it's something that I've kind of struggled with for a long time, finding a definite purpose, but I've kind of allowed myself to really not subscribe to a definite anything because I allow myself to be molded by the truths that come to me, you know, and approach me. Like everything that's been happening with music are the truths that are telling me what my purpose is, you know. Because I get surprised sometimes when things happen. I'm just like, whoa, what? Like, like, you know, I'm not trying to work with Drake or, you know, work with this person, but for some reason I'm getting these opportunities, and it shows me that, yo, like, you are this person. Because I'm hearing a lot of music nowadays that I can be very honest. I think they aren't really what I would like personally, and I do think that yes, and that's the track. But I do think that I could be of assistance to like the music field, you know.
I think your music is trying to replace you.
Yeah, this is Navajo by Masego. This is the big song. This song have more streams than Drake's song, no, you know.
Yeah, but the song has been out longer.
Yes, from 2017.
Right.
She don't think of me.
Yeah.
I thought she was an Indian. She be slanging things like a simian.
And if I was to say something quickly on this song, you know, it's similar to how I make music that just inspires me.